Anyhow, okay, so today we're going to be talking about making sourdough bread. In an ideal situation, you would want to be using a scale. My scale died this morning while I was prepping for today's episode, and I thought I had AAA batteries, and I was mistaken, so that was a fun runabout. So today we're going to be talking about it with measuring with cups or tablespoons. It's not my favorite method because you have more control when we use the digital scale. I don't know if I've said this on this yet, but I will now. I am not a baker. I do it because it is a difficult practice for me and it helps me build other recipes. Bakers are such incredible artists. When you ask me where do I go when I eat, I usually try to seek out homemade bakeries of any kind. People are so clever, especially around me. I am in such a largely diverse area. It really opens my mind in a lot of different ways. And bakers, because they're so obsessed with sweet stuff, ask them what else they like to eat, because they have to get clever with all the other stuff so that you can keep eating your baked goods. Because you can't only eat bread as your only item of the day, but you can eat bread and have a healthy lifestyle. It's just balance. It's annoying. It's fucking bread. This hat, by the way, it's a fun story. Google it. I got it from a friend in California. You have to figure out the story to know where it comes from. Anywho, so we're going to do a quick feeding, and I'm going to do a small feeding so that this will be ready right away for us, and we can keep going because bread takes a very long time. I'm going to do about 2 tablespoons, and I'm going to do it by sight, which isn't totally ideal, but in a pinch, it's fine. At the end of the day, a lot of people get intimidated by bread, and it's not that big of a deal. It's as big of a deal as you make it out to be, if that makes any sense. And we're only going to get better with things if you fail. Julia Childs is really big on that. She said failure was really how you get to your next level. I absolutely believe that. So my mother's starter, which I feed like once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks because I let it live in the fridge. It has a slower grow period. It always has lots of bubbles and it feels really light on the bottom and it sounds hollow. If it didn't sound hollow, I would be concerned, but it does. I use it all the time. I have a sweet one in there too. And there's something else I'd love to show you. So I read about this bakery once in Maryland that had been going for 13 years, a sourdough bakery. They went on vacation and they lost all of their mother's starter and they could never replicate their taste again because sourdough is really special. So I became obsessed with the idea, if I ended up doing this, how could I make it foolproof for myself? I started drying my starter. We did talk about this the other day, didn't we? We have a segment on this so we could like clip it. Okay, excellent, because I'm limited on time and I don't want to get too much into the same rhyme. Drying my starter has absolutely changed the game. It really makes my life so much easier and it's a relief off my shoulders. It comes back to life in about 2 weeks. We'll have a whole episode dedicated to this because that needs a little more prep. That's so much like, can we not do that if that's okay with you? I appreciate you so much. You do it from the mom talk. Not me, babe. Not me. We're just here for the bread. Anyway. Water and flour. Okay, so we have about 2 tablespoons of starter. She's nice, she's hearty. We're going to do about 4 tablespoons of water, or 1/4 of a cup. I like to do 100% hydration. No, it's okay if you spill. What's most important when you're making bread is consistency. What's most important in everything in our life, whether we would like to make it true to ourselves or not, is consistency. We get better with things when we continuously try. Even if this isn't exactly measured out right, which probably isn't, it's okay. It's still going to make a product that's just fine. and maybe even better than fine. And yes, we want to be in the practice of measuring so that we can replicate things in the future. But I've now been doing this for about 6 years. My sourdough journey. Have not loved all 6 years. Absolute true story. Still don't always love. Especially like when it's hot out, because you lose control and you can't always make the best product. And I've gotten into joining in this sourdough cook-off. And I've had some random days in March where my apartment has been so hot, it's ruined my bread and it's ruined my life. And I was so particular, and I really measured everything out, and I thought I did everything that I could. You cannot control the weather. So I used to really obsess, and since I have stopped obsessing so much and just started loving it again for different reasons, my life's a lot happier. So make your life a lot happier. So I did just about the same amount of flour as I did starter, and I did that more so because it's been so warm here lately in Jersey. So it gives me more control with the rise of this starter, so that if it goes over, it's not that big of a deal. And also, if I use a larger starter like this, I'll use less flour in the long round. Now we're gonna let this one sit. And we can cut there. That's about to go off, and then we can start the mix of the starter and the autolyse phase. Then we'll do the autolyse phase. We'll do the autolyse phase first. I lied. Sorry. Yeah. Now we're going to talk about the autolyse phase. So this is a phase that I like to do before I really get started on the bread. So after the starter's been fed, you want to let it go for about 4 hours. Really let her start growing, doing her thing, get those bubbles rocking and rolling. And then while you're waiting, you want to, I keep looking at the wrong one, I'm sorry. You want to be able to have webbing starting. So that's when you expose the flour and water and get like that gluten really developed and strengthened, so that we have prettier bubbles in our bread and a nice crust later. So satisfying. Okay. When I first started looking at recipes online, I was really frustrated that I couldn't find anything that was under 5 cups of flour just for a quick sort of thing. So we're going to do one with about 3 today. And yeah, I'm not going crazy about it because it's okay. I mean, you absolutely can. You'll get a better result, but there's no school in the real world, right? This is just, we go with it. So it's about 3 cups of flour, and I'm going to do 1.5 cups of water, just like a half and half, just a little bit to get started. I am going to start with 1/4 cup first, and if you can see, I have measurements on the inside of this measuring cup. It just makes my life easier to know I'm not totally free-balling it. I have little cheats everywhere to make my life a little easier. I have on acrylics. And I love them, and I'll be honest, I'm overdue to get them off, but the next time I go for an appointment, I have to take them off because I can't have them next month for where I'm going to some places, and it's been hard to let them go, you know what I mean? I want to just have them a little longer, so I don't recommend you having them more than like 3 weeks, but, you know, that's why it's nice to have food safety gloves at home. You can see it's like really dry. So I know to add the next 1/4 cup of water. I might add a little more because it's still pretty hot here. Come back. I'm gonna want that. I prefer to do it with my hands too because you get a little moisture off your hands. Of course, your hands are clean. And there is something in my mind when you get to like connect with your food, when you're not just throwing it into the air fryer, when you put like a little more preparation into it, it just gives a little more pizzazz to me. Just like a little more. It doesn't have to be much. You can marinate it before you put it into the air fryer. I don't mean anything extravagant. I just mean like some thought. And then maybe some thought of like how much water you had today. Just some thoughts. Some fun thoughts. It's a rough dough right now. I'm going to actually wash that off in a minute. But before I put a towel on top of this, I have a spray bottle because we want to keep her moist. Encourage healthy growth. All right. Huzzah. I already did one earlier, so we wouldn't have to wait. Hence why I didn't clean off my glove yet either, because time matters. All right. I also have another starter. This was also a thick feed that I did, but you can see the bubbles have started to go. Normally, if it was colder out, I would do a thinner feed for the starter. But again, this has just been to control, get a nice looking bread at the end. No other reason than that. And it's just good practice. Come on. Ha 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 ha. Oh, it's so satisfying. I love it so much. Play with your food. It's good for you. We were lied to. Not really. Not like entirely. Don't hold this against me. A little bit at the end. That would be good for now. Alright. Just little folds over. Over. And over. Okay, the next phase we want to do here is we want to start adding flavor to the bread, and we do that with salt. And we want to make sure that we protect the starter, because once the salt and the starter meet each other, the salt is going to eat away at the bacteria a little bit so that it won't grow as much. So to help with that process too, I'm going to take a little bit of flour, throw it over my dough, you know. We're not measuring today, we're just kind of freeballing it because it's okay. And you want to aim for about 10 to 15 grams of salt, so that's what I'm going to aim for here. Everybody always tells me my bread's not salted enough, but I think that it is. It's fine. Yeah, it's felt like a lot of salt for me too. Okay, and then we mix it back in. Since it's also such a small dough, you can do it with your hands. If you don't have gloves, you don't need gloves. I'm just doing it because I have a nail that's like hanging on by a thread. It's an honest statement. I don't want to give them up. I really liked this manicure. It even makes me think about my vacation. It's a hard one to let go, you know? All right, now we have a rough dough here, and she's a little sticky. That's okay. Cheers. Cleaned this off earlier today. With baking, I like using avocado oil for no other reason than it has that high snug point. The bread can handle it. So, generous tablespoon. Throw your bread in there and make sure she is covered. And this has a cover, and we'll check out we will work on her in about an hour. Okay, and we can go to a bake-off of the bread because now the oven is hot enough. So I'm just going to keep rolling. That's okay? We're good? Cool. I'm going to put this over here and do this after. And put this away. So we need to give this like a solid hour. So at noon, we could do that flip out. So we're going to save magically the next day. I'll still have more video for you guys later. And we have our little bread baby. We're going to save that plastic wrap because, you know, anything we use twice is a win. Parchment paper, probably not. Be careful when taking out the dough because you don't want to bug the gas in there. We want to keep that pumped, if you will. I know, it looks a little over because I was having wine with a friend last night. So that's more of the honest statement of probably why. Because I let it go over a little bit last night, but I'm sure she'll come out just fine. This one came out really pretty too, and I thought it wouldn't. The flour is going to help with the scoring. It's going to bake in the oven. I've had a lot of people tell me that you're now putting a raw material on your bread. Your bread right now is raw. Your bread right now is raw. You cannot eat this dough. I just really, really want to stress that. If you want to ground up your sourdough starter and put it on there for extra fermentation, you're more than welcome to, but I don't think it's giving you that many more benefits because it's going to get baked off at a 500-degree oven. So the flour will get baked in there, I promise. I don't know why, but that's become my new question from people, is does the flour get baked? It does. So does the bread. The bread is raw right now. The flour is raw right now. We're going to put it in the oven so that it's not. And as always, we want to break bread, not hearts. So quick scoring. This was a monkey wire razor. I like that it was this circular. It's just easy to hold in my hand. You want to make like a tear-shaped motion when you're cutting into your dough so you get a little deeper, you know? Now, I also want to stress that your home oven is so hot and it is so, so very dry. It's very dry in there. So we're going to add an ice cube to our bread in the bake-off process. This is a really heavy cast iron that I got from my Aunt Mary Ann. Thank you so much. Oh. I have the oven up higher than it will be because I'm going to lose heat each time I open the oven. So we're going to take our bread baby, pop her into the oven, take our ice cube, and very quickly save that steam. And that's what's going to create a nice shine on your bread. So you can just give that a second. Don't worry, your Dutch oven, or if you're so lucky to have a bread oven, is so hot, it'll withstand that heat for a few seconds. Hot. Hold it there for 5 minutes, and we'll check on her in about 20. We'll remove the lid, and then we'll keep getting a darker crust. Okay, we can take a break there. All right, so Sundays in my house are really all about making bread and meal prep. It brings me a lot of joy. And my husband's a good man. He likes to remind me that he is client number one. So that's really cute, and it does help to keep going, and then it's just the two of us. It makes it much nicer. All right, so my mom, I also make her lunches, and we both have an incredible sweet tooth. I don't know who has a bigger one. When she was alive, my grandmother had the biggest sweet tooth of anybody I know. She would order waffles and pancakes for breakfast and for lunch on a regular. People come, walk by. Anyway, so to avoid actually cheating, because I don't want to think of it as cheating. I'd like to eat all the things that I'd like to eat, but there was a year there, especially I've been going up and down in the 20s with losing a gym, getting a gym, just buying your own weights is a great move too. Finding foods that help, settle that 90s kid in my soul that's like wanting more and more sugar but can't have it. So this is a go-to snack I love to do. First thing we have to do to get it ready is we have to make some popcorn. I love popcorn. I love this too. Amazon, of course, they're taking over the world, and they have all the great little things to make our lives more convenient. This popcorn maker is fantastic. And fun fact, did you know that the microwave was created for popcorn? I think I did mention that when we were talking about microwaving the popcorn last week. That is why it was created, so that we could make popcorn easily. Oop. So I have, this man also did the work to make the best popcorn in America, and that's why he's all over stuff. I don't usually see a lot of other brands in the grocery store, so we go with it. We don't want to add too much, because I also want to add a cereal to this Rice Krispie bar that we're not going to be making, but we're not adding Rice Krispie treats. And I guess I can't really call it that. So it's just a marshmallow bar. Popcorn and cereal. It's going to be good. Again, now I'm going to mix it up. We're going to use grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil also has a high smoke point. Thank you so much. Has a very high smoke point. I believe it goes over 400, if not right at 400. Especially for all my pescatarian people, I highly recommend this. This does not have any kind of heavy oil taste to it. And one of the effects that I love about grapeseed oil is that I feel like it evaporates off your tongue, if that makes any sense. I will have you both try it so you can see what I mean, because you don't know what I mean right now, and that's okay. I'm just going to put a little bit in there. And a little bit of salt. This is just gonna go in the microwave for 3 minutes. Pop. Try that. Like your mouth feel. No, wait, here, I have one for him too. You're like a spoonful. That's too much, I'm sorry. Spoonful of sugar. Oh, well, you just stick on the sink, yeah. Very, very light, right? That's why it's really nice with fish, because a lot of other things can make it heavy, like heavier on fish. This, I just feel like it kind of evaporates. I don't know how else to explain it, but like the mouthfeel, like it's really, really light. It doesn't like, yeah, thank you. It doesn't linger. It's just, it comes, it's perfect. Oh my God, I love to use this if I'm making like a ceviche or if I'm doing like a fish plate. I did a fish plate for myself and my dad last time I was down at the shore with him, and the oil makes a difference. I personally think that olive oil is too heavy in a lot of times that we use it, and if you love olive oil, absolutely use it, but when I'm using fish, I'm too excited when I think about this. And this fish dish was fantastic. We'll have to make it together. When I'm using fish, I prefer to use grapeseed oil. I'm thinking about it right now. Like, just like hits all the notes in my mouth. Like it had cucumber, pineapple. Oh, it was just so delightful. Just so delightful. Lots of peppers. The popcorn's going. While we're waiting for the popcorn, we'll throw in some butter. I get my butter from the Amish. They're turning it, so that's like really nice to know. One of the benefits about being in New Jersey, so you can utilize the Amish market. If you're from the Hackettstown, Alamucci area, go get some butter. It makes a difference. It's really creamy. It's not salted. I love it. And it's like that magical time of year where we get lots of tourists. Oh my God, and if you're a bicycler that's coming to the Warren County or Sussex County area, please be so kind, be so safe, be so careful, wear bright colors. Please don't wear black at night. That's not nice. Yeah, can you imagine like riding your bike in the middle of the night and like Alfano Road and wearing all black because like you're in the zone? Can you please put on something reflective? Thank you very much. You have the option of browning your butter before you do it. It's whatever you'd like it to be, whatever you want to do. You make your own rules in your kitchen. I'm just doing a little bit here. Popcorn's good. I don't totally want to brown the butter. More so because I'm impatient and I just want to keep this ball rolling. Okay, we have our popcorn. I have a bowl ready for this. Please be so. Oh, yes, I did it. Klutz, just like my mother. I personally like all of the kernel bits. Not everyone does. That's okay. But mine will be in there. I know that there is a trick I heard to like get your kernels out, or if you put like your hand above it and like turn it over. I'm not gonna do that. I don't care that much, but figure it out, Scout. I believe in you. Alright, back to this butter. Next fun part. I'm gonna add most of my marshmallows. Since I only have half a bag, and I'll be honest, I've been too tempted to put fluff into my sodas recently and having like a Coke float. Oh my God, yes, I'll show you my new favorite drink as we're doing this too. Sweet treats to get you by. But I can't keep doing that, so I decided that I was going to make this week for no other reason than I'll stop eating it. And now I'll show you the world's greatest little like sugar rush. It's not too much of a sugar rush. But first things first, let me focus on the fluff. I've left some. Don't worry, I will share. You guys will get to have this experience too. It's wonderful. And like, I am such a firm believer that if like you keep it in your life and you keep it in small amounts so that like you're kind of curbing that, you know what I mean? It helps. And then the days when you go over to like have the original again, you're like, oh my God, I feel drunk off sugar. I can't do this. Okay, we're right at that. Happy point. Oh yeah. I have to give a shout out to my brother Bruce and his wife Allie for introducing to me my favorite protein powder. This is delicious. I don't like protein powder in anything. This is a true story. I fucking hate protein powder more than anything in this world. It always makes me feel bloated, but this one does not hurt my tummy. I don't feel bloated afterwards. Take your time if you're jumping into a protein mission. Take your time. You don't need to rush. And like, there's so many that they're throwing in our faces these days. Just take your time, figure out what you like. This with a hot chocolate we'll do another day. Absolutely spectacular. Goes right in there. Huzzah! No. Now we're going to take our popcorn, throw it right in. Now, I know there's not enough popcorn for this. We're going to be adding this Magic Spoon cereal. My sister turned me on to this. Again, I'm a giant child. If I don't act it, I'll freak out. Add this guy in. Save that for a cereal bowl another day. Sometimes I'll have cereal for dinner. I will. Cereal for dinner. Maybe a salad comes before that, so it's like the dessert of the item. But it happens. Okay. And one more thing that I'm going to add to this. Sometimes when I'm feeling a little more, how do I put this? Healthy, a little more amped, a little more organized. But I'm still coming back off of vacation. So I'm just trying to stay alive. Peanut butter. I'll mix this protein powder when I'm really on my game into the peanut butter with this dessert. So I'm really like, oh, it's not bad for me. It's still kind of bad for you because, like, guys, there's a lot of sugar. But it helps. There we go. A couple scoops of peanut butter. I've turned off the heat on my stove. I played around with how high and low it went. I'm gonna leave it right there so it doesn't mix too much. I'm gonna grab a baking tray, some parchment paper, I'll show hot buffalo rub. Well, mamas. Okay. That'll help too, because I want to keep it cooling and keep it in the shot for this. So you have an option to either smush it down and make it all the same size. I like it that it's kind of weird like this to help with the sweetness of everything. I have some sea salt that we'll go sprinkled on top. And there's like just enough left in there for one more thing. So I'll save that for another day. This is probably, and it's fun to make, it's fun to eat. Okay. So going back to curbing your sweet tooth and the treat that I just can't get enough of, and I seem to have enough left here for more than the 3, so I'll save this again for another day. I've always loved cream soda. Always loved cream soda. And then when I found out this was a cream soda with 9 grams of fiber, I was just like, thank you, future. This is what I want from the future. This is what I want from technology. Thank you for thinking of us. So my summer treat recently, let me get some ice cubes. Oop. He doesn't want to go. He'll make it. My friends have never tried this before, so I had to share. Because, oh god, this is gonna like elevate the soda freezer. This is what I love about the internet. I do. Like, this is what I want. Please help us eat a better life. Thank you. No, you should not always add fluff to the soda. But this is like a weekend treat. Again, finding ways to calm down my sweet tooth because she's really loud. She wants more. Oh my god, I got these. I was recently so lucky to go see my best friend get married in Europe. And of course I got gummy bears before I left. Oh, I ate this in like a weekend. No lie. Like, I got a big variety pack and I thought that I'd save them to go see my sister and my nephews for Halloween. No. I got like the littlest bit of sad and they were all gone. But I was like, okay, I guess that's okay. You are? You are? Cheers! The longer you let this sit too, the more the fluff kind of dissolves into your soda. So it's like having an ice cream soda float, you know what I mean? But with your lollipop. So yeah, the longer that sits, the better it gets. All about a good beverage. So yeah, these are easily things that you can get like Target or Walmart or convenient to you. We can't change how this world is, but we could be eating our best life, and that's something that just genuinely brings me joy. The lie of recycling. That brings me joy too. I'm going to keep telling myself that it's going to work. I have siblings to say that it's not. It's going to work. It's going to work because we're all going to care. Like, that's how it's going to work, right? Like, more people care. All right. This is about ready. So we're going to do the first folding. Yeah, this is ready. We'll do the first folding while we're waiting for our bread in the oven to come out, and we're waiting to combine, or the next step for the autolays and the starter to come together. So this will be the first folding of your bread. So we've let this come together. It was your autolays base dough, which was the three cups of all-purpose flour, 1.5 cups of regular water out of my bread filter, and then the fed starter, which was my attempt to get it close to 50 grams active starter, 50 grams water, and then about 75 grams flour. It was definitely a little more than that. That's okay. See, we're going to see how this bread's going to turn out. Because every now and then you should just like make it a fluke. It doesn't always have to be perfect. So I'm going to get my hand a little wet, make the table a little wet, take my bread out. Oh, she's so nice. We're going to hold her up nice and elastic and flip over. You do not want to tear your dough, but we're creating bubbles right now. Okay, that's about there. And then we're going to bring her back to a circle by just kind of like pulling on the bottom and coming around. And once you start to see like little tears stop, because we don't want her to tear, she goes back in the bowl, gets a little wet too. You let her hang out for about another hour. To save this dough, because I am doing other things today, and a little cheat you can do for yourself is sticking it in the refrigerator, or you could stick it in the freezer for half an hour, set a timer. Timers are our friends. And you can then put it into the fridge so it does not freeze in there, but it still slows your growing process, especially on those warmer days. Alrighty, so now we're going to take our bread out of the oven. It's been in there for about 45 minutes. And it's going to be hot. So I have a thick towel and my thick glove. I had a blue one earlier, and that just, it couldn't handle the heat, quite literally. Like, don't torture yourself for this. Ugh. Side by side. Okay. So I cooked off both of these breads today. As you can see, the one that I did earlier, I think looks a little nicer, a little more plump. This one, I feel like deflated a little bit. I feel like somewhere in between they could have worked. But again, I know that they went over yesterday. And what I mean by that is I kept the dough out too long, and I was catching up with a friend. So I did it to myself, but it's all right. It's still beautiful. It's going to work. And instead of doing 2 plain doughs, I added chocolates to this dough. And since this one's cool enough now, we can cut it and open her up. I'm like nervous now. Cutting open the bread is making me nervous. I'm not even gonna lie. That's always like the moment to see, you know what I mean, what the bubbles are like inside. No, this is a personal mission, and anybody who has gotten the sourdough bug to bite them just wants a little bit is a bit of a perfectionist. And even though they're not measuring everything like they should, they still want their bubbles to be beautiful, and they still want to find a way to make this work. You know what I mean? So, I'll cut like here, just because I don't want to lose the heart yet, and I want to like save some for me and all of you. Oh, yay! Okay, they're cute. Well, they could be cuter, but they're still pretty cute. I don't know why, but sourdough and chocolate are also just such a perfect pairing. Absolute perfect pairing. Doesn't seem to be like a ton of chocolate in this one, but we can still. Just so we can get, oh wait, no, here, you want the part with chocolate. I'm nicer than that. So, this still has a nice crumb. I wish it was browner. The thing I like about it most is the crumb. I'm glad that she was like it. Yeah, the thing I like most about it is the crumb. And I don't think that I added enough salt in this bread. But that's okay. Then we can add more butter. Okay. More so now, I want a piece of chocolate in the bread. But I'm happier with the bubbles than I thought I was going to be. They're like little cubes, you know what I mean? Keep practicing, it'll get better. We want to make it so it's so natural, it's our second nature, and we don't even have to measure. Okay, that was better with the chocolate. I was a hater. Oh, this is going to be an amazing French toast. That's always a first thought. Or like a bread pudding. And so I put dark chocolate, milk chocolate, and since I was so lucky to be in Europe, another favorite thing I get is the Kinder bars. Oh, I love the Kinder bars with the cream and the milk. So that's what the chocolates are in this. And then I have a dark chocolate Toblerone. Oh, it just got mixed in. You can put anything in bread. There's a couple chefs right now like, will it sourdough? I love that question. That's such a fun question. Just put everything in sourdough and see what happens. What a fun thought. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is mix the bread with the starter, and then it should be about time to do the second fold out. So we can just keep rocking and rolling. And I'm going to move this over there by you guys. You can have more bread if you'd like. Yeah. There you go. Go nuts. But I do want some of it. And this is for you guys to split. I have more bread that I'm making right now. Bread's a wonderful thing to share. Oh my god, it freezes so well. Okay. Again, I have my glove. I don't normally like cooking with a glove, but especially when I have my nails done, I'm more amped to be wearing gloves. I don't want nail polish chips or a whole acrylic to be in your bread. That's an honest statement. I am very mindful of that. My old fear was my hair, and when I got over thinking my hair was not in my food anymore, then I could level up to the next pretty bitch thing. Adulting. Okay. That's so hot. Over there. So this is our 3 cups, and as you can see, it's already pretty elastic too. So like we've already started our webbing process, and that's like something you want to see out of the bread because that'll help trap our gas and give us those prettier gas tunnels that we see in there later. So fold it out a little bit. And then take our starter, just puffed up. Now it doesn't look it as much, but that's okay. She'll re-puff up. She's getting re-fed as she goes into a new dough, and since they're wet, it'll come together faster, you know. Okay, so once I have this starter covered by this rough dough, that's when, just like before, we add a little bit of starter, or a little bit of flour. And we add our salt, because our salt is what flavors the bread. Just a little more. And you want to get that all absorbed in. Don't worry about getting it like too incorporated because we do have to fold it out more than once. And everything gets like re-mushed together several times through. It's growing in there. It's coming together. You're building a little world, a little bread baby. Okay, once we have our rough dough, I'm going to take a bowl. Again, avocado oil when I make bread because it has that high smoke point. I don't love the taste of olive oil in the bread. If I'm making some sort of bread that calls for it, like I don't know why, ciabatta just needs to have olive oil to me. Not all focaccias, but some focaccias. And oils, like, they all have different flavors, and once you start playing with it or finding things, and once you start seeing things that are like on sale or in TJ Maxx, I mean, why not make this world work for you? Who cares? Go try it, see what happens. Keep the bread nice and moist, and then we're gonna just let her grow. This goes in here. I'm gonna save this plastic. Second fold out. So now we're going into the future. You've let your bread hang out for about an hour or two, and she's nice and like loose again. As you see, it's like a little more structured than it was before. I did tear it twice, but that's okay. We have time to fix it. And this is like wet enough that I don't think I need to add more water. So we'll just take it in the center. And you want to think about throwing it down and coming over. So that's slow, and then make it faster. There we go. Tighten it up a little bit. Just making a circular motion. And I'm also taking my 3 fingers and tucking under. So I'm kind of like preserving the bubble that's in there, if that makes sense. And so that I can continue to control this because it's pretty warm in my apartment because I've had the oven going. Doesn't matter what I put that little AC to, but she's doing some work because it doesn't feel that bad in here, right? Yeah, no. Oh my God, sometimes when I've done this, it's like easily been 500 degrees in here too. Whew. It's like a sauna experience. We're all a little closer when we leave. All right, this goes back in here. We're gonna cover it back up. And yeah, now we wait. Okay, so now we're going to shape our bread. And since I've made a couple of loaves today, I'm going to show you how you're going to cheat a little bit and throw this one into the freezer. But first we have to shape her up. Shape her up. Okay. Plastic wrap. Ooh, I need my glove. Oh. Put a little bit of flour on there. Take our bread pretty side down. Pull out, come in, pull out, come in. What we're doing is we're getting more of that bubble and tightening it up. And again, like I mentioned before, we're doing that circular motion. And tucking it in. I always love it when people did it like that. Just like squeezed it. Oh no, I broke it. It's fine. Find a side that's pretty and keep working it. Get flour. And don't go over. Once you start ripping, you know you gotta stop. So she's right there. She like can pop back up with an imprint. Should I do that again? Okay, cool. Pop her in for a little bit. Again, anytime you reuse something, it's a win. And then I have this little plastic wrap. I do feel bad that I use plastic wrap and like parchment paper, but at the same time, I did not create this world. This does make it a lot easier. I'm trying to make sure there's no air in there. And I got really sick of cleaning up that beeswax paper. Have you guys ever tried that? Yeah, everyone else in there too, haven't you? Why am I not just reusing this? Why am I not just reusing this? Was my question after a while. Like, oh, this is great. Is it great or is it just another product in the landfill? I don't know. I don't want to know. If you're using it, good for you. Thank you. Going the extra mile. Appreciate you. So does Mother Earth. Okay. Last thing I believe I'd like to do, so I haven't missed anything else, right? We have like a pretty rough setting, a good first round. Next time we do this, we'll be way more calculated. But this episode, I wanted it to inspire you more so to just try it, just wing it, just figure it out, see what happens. It comes together. I did that yesterday when I messed up. Still was going to be the lesson plan of the day, especially when my battery died on me. It happens. That's still pretty hot. Technically, you don't want to cut into bread while it's still hot, but now's the time. And it's going to be okay. Can I have the knife, please? The bread knife. Thank you ever so kindly. So tip downwards. If you put your finger there, if you don't, that's your own life decision. I don't care. I know some people will be like, oh my God, don't do that. You lose control. It strains your hand. Everything does. Oh, she's cute too. I'm just mean to my bread today, guys. Let me tell you. This is a little fluffier. It went a little over. You see how like can you grab another piece? Grab me that bread right there, actually. No, that whole big guy, just so we could have them all together, because this is also showing you time. Timing makes that much of a difference in the size of the bubbles, too. So you have the denseness of this. This has a little more air throughout the rest of it. It's looking a little juicier because it went a little more over. There's probably a Goldilocks zone somewhere in between the two of these. And that's why when I go to the bread competition, you have to measure everything. You have to time it out, because like this could run your life. Or you could still get two perfectly good breads, little more play with your timing, and it's okay. The longer that you let it go, the more that it will flatten out and lose the gas, because like you kind of are building something up and then it's coming back down. So there you have it for contrast. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for stopping by. If you could be so kind, give a like, maybe a subscribe, maybe even a rewind.